was very, very encouraging. Now, it was in my first few months of being in 3rd grade, it was a fall day. And it was one of those crisp but not cold days. It was bright with color but not eye squinting, you know. It was breezy but not windy. It was recess time. And I was swinging to the clouds with my best friend, Donna. We jumped from the swings and sat to talk. I don't know how we ever started talking about my older sister, Joyce, 3 years older than me. But before I knew it, my friend said, "You don't know? You don't know that your older sister isn't your real sister? She had a different mother." As a 3rd grader, I was shocked. So it all raced through my mind. How could Donna say such a thing in a matter-of-fact way? This was big. I was 8. Everything was big at 8. This changed all that I thought I knew about my life. I never really wondered about why I had 3 sets of grandparents, likely because I never saw the ones in Missouri very often. We would only travel east to the bluffs of Mississippi River and Galena, Illinois, and then further east to the farm where my dad had grown up. There wasn't much storytelling in my family, but there was a sense of sadness from time to time. I didn't know anything about losing anyone close yet. That would come much, much later. Now, I could hardly keep from running the 5 blocks home, one of which was through a little field that had grasshoppers, which I hated going through the field, but that was the fastest way to get home, so I ran very fast through there. And I couldn't wait. I wanted to ask my mom and my sister what was going on. And, yep, it was right. Joyce was not the daughter of Donald and Florine, my parents, but was the daughter of Donald and Joyce, his first wife, who had died 2 days after giving birth. Joyce had been raised by her grandparents for most of 2 years as my dad established his practice in Belle Plaine and made the weekly trek to see her. And then there was a new marriage that brought a new mother for Joyce. All that happened before my life even began. In those days of my 8th year, I had been told that my beloved older sister was not who I thought she was. But even in those young years, I knew that there was something more, that there was a deeper truth that didn't have words as full or half. So today, we hear another parable, a story, one with an unforgettable title, the parable of the dishonest steward. A rich man, we are told, has a manager who is accused of mishandling, of squandering the rich man's money. Faced with the inquiry of the rich man, the manager goes out and settles the book for a fraction of the debt owed. A difficult parable, to be sure. What are we to take from this? A commendation of dishonesty? A surprise at the praise of the rich man? Perhaps there is another way. The Reverend Amy Bentley Lamborn offers an insight into another way. Going back to the Greek text, the phrase that is translated, the dishonest servant, can be translated in another way. A way that offers quite a different view and takes us to a much different place. Literally, the phrase reads, the steward of unrighteousness. The steward of unrighteousness. So now we go back to the beginning and consider the parable from a whole new direction, and perhaps with a new trajectory of understanding. Now, the fact that the manager was accused does not necessarily mean that he was actually guilty. What if the manager had been accused falsely? As one who worked regularly with those who owed his employer money, he may well have made some enemies. Maybe someone was holding a grudge against this creditor and envisioned a scheme that would tarnish his professionalism and reputation. What if the manager was the victim of unrighteousness? Someone else's less than just treatment of him, rather than being dishonest himself. The steward of unrighteousness, of injustice, of brokenness, of a fragmented world. Is this not an ever-present reality of our world? A world where justice does not always seem to flow down like water and over the land with goodness. A world where broken relationships are too often the descriptor of how we live together. A world where the health of the personal body and soul and mind quickly fall into illness without attentiveness to the tending of body, soul, and mind. A world where the health of our corporate body and soul and mind can quickly fall into dysfunction and disrepair without attentiveness to the tending of our relationships here, in our families, in our communities, in our neighborhoods, certainly and within our church. One by one, with those that we live and work and daily talk to. We need an understanding, a spirituality of stewardship that includes how we might handle all this unrighteousness that finds footholds in our lives, private and public, and how we can tend to ourselves. We must steward. We must care for the good things that come our way, cultivating a spirit of gratitude and thanks for the blessings of life. Our quiet whispers of thanks for the gifts of family and home and work and recreation attest to that. But surely we must also manage that which might threaten us in our ability to live gratefully. We in the world that we live in resort far, far, far too often to knee-jerk reactions to injustice that comes close, with passivity, or with despair, or even unbridled anger. How do we manage ourselves in the midst of being mismanaged by others? And how do we manage ourselves so that we do not become the ones bringing hurt and brokenness onto one another? The steward of the parable settles accounts. Settles them, though, in a peaceful way, through a peaceful agreement. Perhaps not the perfect answer in terms of dollars, but to be sure, a perfect answer in terms of relationships, or at least an acceptable one. Perhaps for some it is to walk away, to resist the urge to struggle further and simply walk away. Channeling that energy of struggle into seeking social justice for others in whatever arena that takes place. And maybe, perhaps for an 8-year-old girl, it is to know that being full or half, or some other relationship-limiting term is all wrong. And fling it all away. And just call Thanks be to God.